gives a wide berth here, would you slick?
Hey, watch it, fellas. You got the prince of the city there.
Welcome everyone to my action figure review of the 1/12 scale Aton Custom of Bruce Young Rich, which is a custom made figure based on, you guessed it, Bruce Wayne from the Batman, the 2022 movie version. So this is a third party unlicensed product, meaning Aton Custom don't have the official licensing to put any titles or logos on their packaging, but we all know it is based on that particular character. And one of the main reasons why I pick up these unlicensed products is, one, I really like the character, but two, is because we don't have like an official product as of yet. So this one obviously falls into both of the categories. And Aton Custom, you may have heard of them before. They did make the Constantine figure, which I do have in the collection. So let's look at the packaging, and you can see it's clearly based on the Batman with the red titles and the black background. And if you've been following unlicensed products, you may think this box looks quite familiar, because Notice Studios, which is another company, they made the Bruce Wayne from the Justice League version, and that was known as Rich Man. And it seems as though they've used like a similar title, Young Rich, because obviously this is the younger version. But looking at the packaging, it looks exactly like it. Everything else is quite basic, just Bruce Young Rich on the sides, and then the Aton Custom logos at the top and bottom. So no pictures of the actual figure on the box, so it's pretty simple. And then we have a cover, and then we've got some accessories in this packaging, so some hands, the umbrella. So before we take a look at the figure itself, this is all of its accessories included, and considering this is a Bruce Wayne figure, this is a lot more than I expected. And looking at some of the 1/6 scale custom made Bruce Waynes, as well as my recent pickup of the AC Play version, this has a lot more. So we have the bag, the newspaper article, the alternative head sculpt, 10 interchangeable hands, as well as a umbrella. Of course, I'll take a look at all of them in more detail with the figure later on, but now let's first take a look at the figure itself. So here is Bruce Young Rich, aka Bruce Wayne, out of its packaging. First impressions, this is a good representation of the Prince of the City. I would say in terms of the lightness, this is already a better one than the AC Play. And I've said this before in terms of custom made suited bodies. If you don't get the head sculpt right, then this figure is pretty much pointless. And I think they've got the look right here. Looking at the face sculpt, you can see it's definitely Robert Pattinson. And even though I did say that if you don't get the head sculpt right, it's pretty much pointless, I also feel that the tailor suit is just as important. Sometimes figures can look too baggy or too tight. I think they've got this one right as well. One of the first things I looked at was his jacket. It has to be lower than his knees, or at least in between the knees and the shoes, because the AC Play one was too short. This one, it seems as though they've got it right. And then everything else I think is spot on, with the tie with those dots. And then we have the shirt inside, the blazer, obviously the trousers. And if we move it up, it seems as though he has some sort of socks, which I think the AC Play one didn't have. And the shoes is the hard plastic, which is the only part that isn't soft materials. And if we take a closer look at the face sculpt, you can see it's pretty realistic. The hairstyle, the skin tone, just the chiseled jaw. Yeah, everything about this I do like. And I know a lot of people remember the scene as the funeral one, when Riddler turns up and then he puts a bomb. But I think this scene is more important when Bruce Wayne first arrives. It was the first time we saw him interact with the people, the public. When he spoke to Falcone, the mayor, the policeman, and just how people saw his persona. So yeah, this is one of the reasons why I decided to pick this figure up, because I really like that scene and we want a Bruce Wayne from the movie. So now for the movement of this character, and of course for this Bruce Wayne, you don't really need him in any dynamic poses. I think just him standing there would really work, but we got to do it anyways. So starting off with the head sculpt. So you can move side to side and then rotate all the way around, and then can tilt left and right, downwards pretty well, upwards quite a lot as well. And this head is separate from the neck as well, which I like, because sometimes third-party custom figures you can kind of just have one piece, and I think it doesn't really work for the articulation, but it seems that they've done it here. And then the arms, they go side to side pretty smoothly. Forwards, not so much, because of the jacket is kind of limited, but you can kind of push it upwards. Just be very careful, you don't want to rip any materials. And then backwards like this. And then obviously there is a elbow joint, and there's rotation on the arm as well. And then for the hands, there's rotation, some sort of hinge as well, which is kind of standard. And then for the body, I noticed when you take off the jacket, it's actually a vest, which obviously shouldn't be, but I think I like it like this because it gives them better movement in terms of articulation. If you have the actual shirt inside, sometimes it does limit the movement, so I'm going to keep the jacket on obviously. And then for the waist, you turn side to side. I believe that might be just one piece in terms of the body, can't really tell with the cloth, but you can see that he can tilt forwards, backwards, and everything else is pretty good. I really like the way they've tailored made the blazer as well, because the AC Play one kind of had like a silver clipped, which wasn't realistic, and it was kind of showing. This one, they've definitely got it more accurate. There's also a belt inside, and then the legs, okay, forwards and backwards. Don't really attempt the splits because you don't want to rip the trousers, but knee bend, it's pretty smooth. So it's kind of just standard rotation, hinge, no toe hinge because it's just one piece shoe. So yeah, that's pretty much what you expect. I think there's wires on the jacket as well, inside. Let me see. Gives him that wind movement if you want more dynamic pose. So now we can take a look at the accessories, starting off with the interchangeable hands. So out of the box, it is the closed fists, and then we have some open grapple hands, which can be used for the running pose or used to stop and save the kid. And then we have some grapple hands for the accessories, as well as some slightly closed grapple hands for another accessory. And we also have the closed fist grapple hand for the other accessory as well. And we also get a set of relaxed palms, which was in a separate bag. And here he is holding on to the bag. And here he is holding on to the umbrella, both which I believe is only from the behind the scenes. And here it is next to him holding on to the newspaper, which looks better when he's sitting down. And now for the final accessory, which is the alternative head sculpt. So the one right out of the packaging is already a great likeness with the cleaner hair and of course a really good representation. And here is the alternative head sculpt, which I think is just as good as the original. The only thing is with the messy hairstyle and the eyeshadow, it's not really in line with this attire. I think this one works more with a bat suit, so maybe I'll try this on the SH Figure Arts. And here it is placed on the SH Figure Arts. Of course the skin tone isn't quite correct with the neck, but I think it still has a good look. So now for the size comparisons, starting off with the AC Play Mr. Wealthy and the SH Figure Arts The Batman, as well as next to the Medicom Mafex Justice League Bruce Wayne, and staying with the SH Figure Arts The Batman with the Bruce Wayne head sculpt. And here it is next to the McFarlane Toys The Batman and Drift the Bruce Wayne, as well as the McFarlane Toys Penguin and the Riddler. And to round it off, here it is next to some Hasbro Marvel Legends with the suited bodies of Logan and Tony Stark. So now for my final thoughts on the Aton Custom Young Rich, aka Bruce Wayne from The Batman 2022. Firstly, I like this figure. This is a good likeness to the Pattinson Bruce Wayne, as it has a great head sculpt, a well-fitted suit, and plenty of interchangeable hands. It may be a man in a suit, but for me it's an important scene in the film and will certainly look great in my Batman collection. Now compared to the AC Play, I think this likeness is better. It has a lot more accessories like the hands, the newspaper, the bag, the umbrella, although some of it isn't really needed. However, it isn't the perfect figure. I feel there are some improvements. I would have a different alternative head, more in line with that scene in the funeral, like a smiling one or a more concerned look. The alternative one is kind of for his bat suit, although in closer inspection I feel the eye makeup isn't as heavy, so I'm not sure what that head is for, maybe more for the drifter look. Also for the accessories, more in line with the film, like his car keys or something like the letter from the Riddler, although it wouldn't be used for this figure but used for another one. For the bag and the umbrella, I think it wasn't really needed as it's more in line with the behind the scenes. So overall this is a good representation, and if they attempt to make, say, Penguin, Falcone, Alfred, something straightforward like a man in a suit, I would consider it. And one I would really like is the Drifter Bruce Wayne one. So my score is an 8 out of 10. It's a great Bruce Wayne for the funeral look, and Aton Custom have done another excellent job here. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out the other links related to the Batman in the description below. Thanks for watching and hope to see you next time.